So tonight we'll be exploring the topic of raising capital for your business. But let me say first and foremost that the subject of capital is so topical today that it needs to be addressed appropriately. But the good news is that God specializes in creating something out of something, something big out of something small, a plantation from a seed. And so our attention tonight is to demystify, if you like, the concept of capital in business. To let everyone know that business starts with inspired ideas, get going by desires, commitment, dedication, passion, and remain profitable by engaging applicable wisdom. So capital economy is very, such a topical subject more than ever before, because among other things, our corporate institutions today do not have enough room to accommodate the large graduates that are being turned out to our universities, our institutions. These creating women and men and women walking the streets of our nations, of our continent, who, by reason of a number of things, have to be creative to survive. And someone said, and I believe strongly, adversity is the mother of invention. But before we get going, let us address some misconceptions over time that has limited many of us in the subject of capital for our businesses. Number one, our education institutions or curriculum, if you like, teaches capital as if it's all about money. Our government creates establishments everywhere, tossing money in the form of grants and loans, as if capital is all about money. The society itself is not, it's also guilty. It's filled with stories of men and women, people recounting why they never started any business because there's no money. So our university system teaches us how to study and how to look for a job, but not how to build businesses. And the truth of it, actually, is that many of those who even teach us in schools never built any business anyway. So many of those who govern us, for example, in our government agencies, never ran any successful businesses before. So everybody paying money is capital. Or capital is all about money. Now, but if you check the stories in other climes, of great men and women who have built great businesses across the nation of the world today, there are factors beyond money that help these people build global entities that we celebrate across the world today. Someone that said the richest place in the world today is not the gold mine of Africa or the diamond mines, but it's symmetry. Why? Because there are multi-billion-dollar organizations that were never built because someone told him or herself there's no capital. Now, so let's lay some foundation tonight. Let's lay a very solid foundation tonight on this subject. Let's lay foundation and define some terms. What is business, for example? Business is anything that you engage in with the purpose of a profit or a reward in mind. Anything you engage in with the purpose of a profit or a reward in mind. So what is capital? Capital is any resource you engage or use to start a business. Any resource you engage or use to start a business. Or any resource, tangible or intangible, that serves as an enabler to start a business. Any resource, tangible or intangible, that serves as an enabler to start a business. And what about a resource? A resource is anything that can be used for a purpose. So what is the relevance of capital in business, for example? Or what is the purpose of capital in business? Now, everything in life has a beginning. And every plantation begins with a seed. So every enterprise was first a thought in the heart of someone. So little drops, we are told, they make an ocean. And for every building, there's a foundation, there's a seed. For every plantation. And every empire, as you and I know, is built on inspired ideas. These are capital resource. So capital is a seed today that has the capacity to generate harvest tomorrow. But it's important for you and I to recognize that every time God wants to start a thing, there's a process God engages. And so you remember very vividly when it was time for creation, God began with the word, let there be light, and the light came forth. So that there are forces to engage for you and I, to be able to realize and experience what God is saying concerning our destiny, our engagement here on earth. It was in Zechariah chapter 4, verse 6 says, don't despise the days of little beginning. So there's a days of little beginning. There are things you need to start with These are the capital resources you need to engage. God told Abraham, among other things, say, from where you are at, there's something where you are now that you can start that enterprise that God has spoken to you about. There's something around you if you can think enough. I remember it was Luke chapter 16, Jesus was saying, say, sit down first and count the cost. Who is it that want to build a tower that will not sit down first? Sit down first. In the parable of talents in Matthew 25, very profound story, we are told that God gave everyone according to their several abilities. He gave everyone according to their several abilities. There's something that God has given you that can use to kick off that business. As a matter of fact, when the world was being destroyed and we had to begin all over again, and God told Noah, I'm going to destroy the earth with water, and I'm going to begin all over again. And when the flood ended, God told him, Genesis 8, he said, from now, seed time and harvest shall not cease. Seed time and harvest. So there is a seed in your hand today. God will open your eyes tonight. So, but more often than not is our attitude that limits us. That's why we're engaging tonight on what we need to unlearn. Remember the story of Elijah and the widow? He said, there's something in your hand. Peter and Jesus, there was something in Peter's hand. There's something in your house today. There's something in your hand. If you can think enough, you can look inward. Someone said, if you can think enough, you have enough to start that business. Now, so tonight we'll be exploring what are the forms of capital. And I should listen very carefully and follow through because, all that needs to happen tonight is a new mindset. It's to allow access to unlearn and then relearn. What are the forms of capital? What resource can you and I engage to kickstart a business? Number one, God as a capital. Psalm 127 says, it says, the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that builds it. Remember, capital is anything you're engaging to kick off a business. So you and I need God first and foremost to recognize that except the Lord build the house, every labor is in vain. So there's a place of God in kicking off any business or any venture for that matter.